In the early 1960s, beneath California sunsets and along surf-lined shores, a new sound began to form. It rose from family harmonies and beachside rhythms, capturing the spirit of a golden coast. From those early waves of melody, a musical legacy emerged, sun-warmed, soul-deep, and destined to echo far beyond the sand. Welcome to Sleepy Journeys, the podcast designed to lull you into a peaceful slumber with soothing stories through time, places, and ideas. Whether you're winding down after a long day or simply looking for a peaceful escape, you're in the right place. My name's Jack, and I'm so happy to have you here with me. Each night on Sleepy Journeys, we set off together on gentle adventures designed to soothe your mind and ease you into rest. You'll find journeys through history, comforting fairy tales, myths and folklore, the wonders of science, fascinating inventions, inspiring famous figures, music history, and even calm explorations around the world. No matter where your curiosity takes you, there's a dreamy Sleepy Journeys show for you. Tonight, we're going to embark on a gentle journey through good vibrations, the Beach Boys. And just before we fully drift off, if you're enjoying Sleepy Journeys, go ahead and tap follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're joining me on. That way, you won't miss any of our upcoming sleepy adventures. And let us know in the comments where in the world you're listening from and what time it is there. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us. Now, take a deep breath and let's begin. The sky is brushed with the softest gold, touched with hints of apricot and lavender, as the sun begins its descent over the Pacific coast. A slow, warm breeze drifts in from the water, rustling gently through the palm fronds, and the waves roll in with a calm, rhythmic hush. The shoreline is quiet now. The laughter and footsteps of beachgoers have faded into the stillness of twilight, leaving behind the peaceful sound of foam meeting sand. Along this tranquil stretch of California's coast, music once rose like mist from open windows and car radios, a sound filled with harmony, longing, and sunlight. The Beach Boys, with their unmistakable blend of voices and gently rolling rhythms, captured that golden glow and gave it shape in song. Their music felt like a breeze through dune grass, or the shimmer of sunlight on ocean swells. It carried listeners across summers and memories, drifting softly from the surf to the stars. Tonight, we'll follow that sound from its humble beginnings in a modest Hawthorne home, through rising fame and quiet revolutions in sound. We'll walk gently beside Brian Wilson and his brothers, feeling the tide of creativity, harmony, and reflection that shaped their path. Each moment will be still and spacious, letting us drift deeper into the calm. There is no rush here, no need to stay awake or follow every detail. If your eyes begin to close or your mind wanders to dreams, that's just right. You can return to this story anytime and let it carry you back to this quiet shore. So breathe in once more, feel the air grow cooler and softer, and let your thoughts settle like sea foam on sand. We begin with gentle footsteps at the edge of a California dusk, where a small family home, filled with quiet harmonies, waited to echo across the world. In the quiet neighborhoods of Hawthorne, California, the air often held a stillness broken only by birdsong and the occasional passing car. Modest homes lined the streets, their small front yards dotted with rose bushes, tidy hedges, and weathered porches. Inside one of these homes, the Wilson family began and ended their days surrounded by music. It flowed gently through their routines, rising from radios, humming voices, and the soft plinking of piano keys. The Wilson household was filled with sound. The hum of appliances, the tapping of piano keys, the low murmur of the radio, all became part of the atmosphere that surrounded Brian, Dennis, and Carl as they grew up. Their father, Murray Wilson, had once pursued songwriting and held a deep love for music. He encouraged his sons to listen closely, to harmonize, to appreciate the way notes touched each other. Their mother, Audrey, offered warmth and stability, with lullabies and gentle encouragement always present. Brian, the eldest, was especially attuned to sound. He could pick out melodies from the radio and reproduce them with uncanny precision. He was drawn to the intricacies of harmony, often spending long stretches at the piano, coaxing chords from the keys and humming softly to himself. His hearing in one ear may have been limited, yet his musical mind embraced every nuance of a song. He explored the shapes of melodies and the way they stirred quiet emotions. Carl, the youngest, carried a gentle sensitivity and a clear, melodic voice that blended seamlessly with his brothers. He found comfort in his guitar, often strumming chords on the couch or porch, while the light filtered in through the curtains. Dennis, the middle brother, moved with uncontained energy and a deep affection for the ocean. He loved the water, spending hours near the surf, taking in the pulse of the waves and the breath of sea air. He brought the feel of California's coast into their earliest sound. The boys were joined by their cousin, Mike Love, whose voice carried an edge that gave their harmonies direction. He brought lyrical ideas, charm, and a sense of rhythm that lifted their songs. A high school friend, Al Jardine, also became a trusted musical companion. He contributed guitar and bass with care, anchoring their early recordings with his steady touch. Their first practices took place in living rooms and garages, where they gathered around a shared microphone or crowded near an upright piano. They sang songs they admired, doo-wop harmonies, early rock melodies, hymns from church, each one filling the space with warmth and shared rhythm. They practiced often and listened carefully to one another, shaping a sound that grew more unified with each session. Warm California evenings wrapped their rehearsals in a soft light, the scent of roses and dry grass drifting through open windows. In those early moments, there was a gentle joy in creating music together, and each small step forward felt filled with promise. Their first recordings were made with borrowed equipment and eager hands, their voices blending in smooth, hopeful layers. They performed under the name the Pendletones, a nod to the flannel shirts they wore. Their first recorded song, Surfin', carried a playful rhythm and a spark of originality. It reached just far enough to draw attention from a local label. The band's name was soon changed to the Beach Boys, capturing the imagery and setting that had already inspired their music. From modest beginnings and family harmonies, a new sound was quietly taking shape. The Beach Boys were stepping into the gentle current of their journey, surrounded by sunlight, love, and the soft pull of something extraordinary. As the seasons turned and their confidence grew, the Beach Boys began to step beyond the quiet comfort of home rehearsal into a world of wider sound. Their early success with surfing had opened a door, and beyond it lay recording studios, radio airwaves, and the embrace of listeners across California and beyond. The year was 1962, and the warm, rolling rhythm of the California coast was beginning to travel. Their breakout came with Surfin' Safari, a cheerful track that captured the bright energy of youth and the sparkle of the sea. Released by Capitol Records, the song rose gently on the charts, gaining attention for its sunny tone and clear harmonies. Encouraged by its success, the group followed quickly with 409, an ode to cars in motion, and then with Surfin' USA, a track that echoed across the nation like a breeze from the Pacific. It carried with it a sense of possibility, painting scenes of waves and open roads, all wrapped in layered vocals and an unmistakable beat. The sound was fresh and inviting, with rhythms that encouraged movement and lyrics that conjured daydreams of surfboards and sun-kissed afternoons. At the heart of it all was Brian Wilson's ear for harmony. He arranged each voice with care, building a structure where every note supported the next. His admiration for earlier vocal groups like the Four Freshmen and the Hylos shaped these arrangements, but he added a sense of coastal ease and youthful optimism that felt entirely new. Mike Love's vocal presence gave their songs a playful rhythm, and his lyrics often touched on teenage life in language that felt both simple and vivid. Dennis, with his beach-washed charisma, embodied the spirit of the surfer, even though he was the only band member who actually surfed. Carl's guitar work began to find its voice as well, steady and melodic, supporting the band's growing sound. Al Jardine, briefly absent during early sessions, returned to the group during this time and quickly became a grounding presence. His musicianship added fullness to their live shows and recordings, and his calm focus helped balance the group's energetic pace. Their early performances were full of charm and an almost innocent enthusiasm. Dressed in striped shirts and bright smiles, the Beach Boys took to stages with voices that blended effortlessly. Audiences responded warmly. The joy of their songs spread quickly, especially among teenagers who found in their music a kind of anthem for sunny afternoons and carefree weekends. Touring became part of their rhythm. They traveled across the country in vans and buses, performing in school auditoriums, small clubs, and increasingly large venues. Each show brought new fans, and each song became a shared experience. Their days filled with radio interviews and sound checks, their nights wrapped in applause and movement. As their presence grew, so did their discography. Albums like Surfin' Safari and Surfin' USA brought together familiar singles with new tracks, extending their sonic reach. The Beach Boys were no longer just a group of brothers and friends from Hawthorne. They were becoming symbols of a feeling, a place, a golden mood. California took on a shimmering quality through their music. The songs gave voice to ocean breezes, beach bonfires, and long summer evenings. That feeling resonated wherever their music played, offering a sense of sunlight and freedom that traveled easily through radios and record players alike. By the end of 1963, their place in popular music was secure. Their sound brought lightness to the charts and comfort to the airwaves. They had captured something real and soft, something that invited listeners to breathe a little deeper and smile a little easier. The first wave of their journey had arrived, and its rhythm was only beginning to unfold. The days of bright stage lights and coast-to-coast tours continued, yet something within the Beach Boys' world began to shift. While the group thrived in the eyes of audiences, a quieter rhythm was forming beneath the surface, one that pulled Brian Wilson closer to the stillness of the studio and the introspective possibilities within music itself. The turning point came in late 1964. During a flight between concert stops, Brian experienced a panic episode that left him shaken. The constant motion, noise, and expectations had taken a toll, and he chose to step away from performing live. In his place, Glenn Campbell briefly filled in on tour, and later Bruce Johnston joined to support the group on stage. With this change, Brian found time to create in solitude, returning home to a familiar space where he could let sound unfold slowly, with care. This new phase allowed Brian to focus on crafting songs that reflected his internal world. The cheerful anthems of surfing and driving gave way to lyrics that explored longing, uncertainty, and quiet wonder. His arrangements grew more intricate. Strings, horns, and unusual instruments joined the recordings, giving the songs texture and depth. Brian's growing collaboration with lyricist Tony Asher would soon give rise to even deeper emotional expression. During this time, the albums The Beach Boys Today and Summer Days and Summer Nights showed signs of transformation. Tracks like When I Grow Up to Be a Man and Let Him Run Wild offered glimpses into the more tender side of their sound. These songs still carried the signature harmonies and brightness that fans loved, but they moved with more patience, more introspection. The group was evolving gently, following a current of curiosity rather than a formula of repetition. Within the studio, Brian sought not just to capture music, but to shape atmosphere. He directed sessions with increasing clarity, asking musicians to evoke feelings with the tone of a single note or the hush of a particular rhythm. The process felt more like painting than recording, and those involved described it as immersive and richly detailed. His brothers supported this shift. Carl offered encouragement and played with subtlety and strength, understanding the new direction instinctively. Dennis, though less involved in studio decisions, admired Brian's abilities and continued to bring energy to recordings. Mike Love contributed lyrical ideas that helped tie the new songs to the themes of youth and change, while Al Jardine remained steady, reliable, and quietly attuned to Brian's vision. This was a period of transition for the group, and though not every listener immediately noticed the shift, the music was deepening. The harmonies still shimmered, but they floated over chords that carried more emotion, more nuance. The songs invited quiet reflection alongside sunlit memories. These years also brought moments of peace for Brian. At home, surrounded by instruments and ideas, he found a place to express his feelings in a way that words alone could not reach. With the touring demands lifted, his mind turned entirely to sound, building layers, imagining new textures, and listening for the songs that seemed to arrive softly from somewhere just beyond the horizon. By the close of 1965, the Beach Boys had gently stepped into new territory. Their music now reached inward as much as it reached outward. The stage may have felt more distant for Brian, but the studio had become a sanctuary, a space where quiet ideas could bloom into something luminous. The new year arrived quietly, and with it came a sense of stillness and focus in Brian Wilson's world. With touring now left to the rest of the group, Brian's days became filled with gentle hours at the piano, soft conversations with collaborators, and long sessions in the recording studio. During this time, a new musical vision began to emerge, one filled with personal expression, emotional clarity, and the warmth of carefully woven sounds. This vision soon became Pet Sounds. Brian felt deeply connected to the mood and movement of music. Melodies gave shape to his thoughts, and harmonies offered a way to communicate feelings that lingered in the quiet spaces of his heart. At his piano, he followed pathways of sound that carried a sense of honesty and longing. His collaboration with Tony Asher provided a lyrical mirror to these emotions, words that reflected the gentle beauty of love, hope, uncertainty, and the quiet passage of time. Recording began in early 1966. Brian approached each session with patience and a clear sense of purpose. He invited some of the most skilled session musicians in Los Angeles, often known as the Wrecking Crew, to help bring his ideas to life. Together, they worked in softly lit studios, surrounded by reels of tape, sheet music, and the hum of creativity. Brian guided each musician with thoughtful precision, shaping the tone and texture of every track. The arrangements moved beyond the structure of traditional pop. Instruments such as harpsichords, French horns, bicycle bells, and even dog barks found their way into the sessions. Each addition brought a new feeling or memory into the music. The songs unfolded with tenderness and depth, creating an atmosphere that invited quiet listening and emotional connection. Among the album's most cherished moments were tracks like Wouldn't It Be Nice, which opened with youthful hopefulness and drifted gently into dreams of shared futures. Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder carried the intimacy of a whispered thought, and God Only Knows offered a melody that floated like morning light over still water. These songs became touchstones, remembered not only for their beauty, but for the feelings they stirred. Pet Sounds marked a soft evolution in the Beach Boys' journey. The group lent their voices to Brian's vision with grace and care. Carl's lead on God Only Knows carried a quiet strength, while Mike, Al, and Dennis added depth and color to the harmonies. Their contributions helped create an album that felt both expansive and deeply personal. The response upon release was thoughtful, if not immediate. Some listeners recognized the album's artistry right away. Others needed time to settle into its slower rhythms and emotional subtlety. Over the years, admiration grew. Musicians and audiences alike came to embrace Pet Sounds as a landmark of modern music, a work filled with tenderness and creativity that continues to resonate. By the end of 1966, the Beach Boys had released something enduring. Pet Sounds glowed with feeling and intention, shaped by quiet hours and a desire to create music that brought comfort, reflection, and calm. The album became a gentle milestone, a pause in the world's noise, where emotion and harmony flowed with grace. The months following Pet Sounds were filled with a sense of quiet exploration. Brian Wilson continued to spend his days in the studio, listening for new textures, dreaming of compositions that moved like the sea, layered, shifting, and filled with color. From this gentle space of creativity emerged one of the most intricate and luminous singles of its time, Good Vibrations. The idea for Good Vibrations began with a phrase that Brian had heard from his mother as a child. She spoke of feelings people could sense in one another, a kind of emotional energy that could be warm and uplifting. This impression stayed with him, and in 1966, he began building a song that captured that feeling through sound. The recording process unfolded in sections. Rather than composing the song in a single session, Brian shaped it over many weeks, recording fragments in different studios. He layered instruments and voices like brushstrokes on a canvas, blending cellos, harpsichords, and a softly howling theremin into a radiant and dreamlike composition. Each element added a new shade of feeling, and each transition led listeners through a gentle journey. Mike Love contributed lyrics that helped guide the emotional tone, giving the song a floating, romantic atmosphere. The vocals moved with ease across changing tempos and shifting keys, yet always returned to a center of brightness and harmony. Good Vibrations became a miniature symphony, complex in design, yet smooth and light in delivery. When it was released in October 1966, the song rose to the top of the charts. Listeners responded to its beauty and intricacy, and many felt drawn to the calm innovation within its layered sounds. It was celebrated for its originality and came to be seen as a moment of transformation in pop music. Brian had envisioned something that moved with emotion and grace, and the result glowed with both. Inspired by the creative freedom of Good Vibrations, Brian turned his focus to a larger, more ambitious project. He called it Smile. It was meant to be a full album shaped in a modular style, where songs were recorded in sections and then assembled into a continuous, flowing experience. The music was filled with imagery, drawn from childhood memories, American landscapes, and abstract ideas that blended whimsy with reflection. Brian worked closely with Van Dyke Parks, a lyricist whose words offered vivid, poetic images. Together, they crafted songs that shimmered with unusual phrases and unexpected melodies. In the studio, Brian recorded with the same attention to detail he had shown before, experimenting with textures, rhythms, and emotional shifts. As sessions progressed, the project grew in scale. The music expanded in complexity, and expectations from the public and the label began to build. Brian continued working gently and patiently, but the atmosphere around the project became heavier. The balance that had supported his creativity began to feel more fragile. Though many fragments of Smile were recorded, the album remained unfinished at the time. Brian stepped away from the sessions, and the project was quietly set aside. Some of its songs later appeared in new forms, and others were stored safely for future days. The vision that had carried the project forward still lingered, resting like sunlight behind a curtain. In the years that followed, the music from Smile became a source of fascination. Fans and musicians held its melodies in affection, imagining what it might have been. For Brian, the experience remained a significant chapter, filled with beauty, challenge, and the deep desire to create something lasting and light-filled. The period of Good Vibrations and Smile marked a moment of radiant creativity. Brian's gentle pursuit of sound carried the band into new spaces of feeling and form. Though the album did not arrive in its original shape, the echoes of its creation drifted forward, touching hearts and inspiring dreamers in quiet and lasting ways. As the 1970s unfolded, the Beach Boys entered a new phase of their journey, one shaped by changing times, deeper introspection, and a gentle resilience that carried them forward. Their earlier fame had softened into something more reflective, and their music moved with the ebb and flow of personal growth. Albums like Sunflower and Surf's Up signaled a thoughtful evolution in their artistry. These records blended the band's trademark harmonies with lyrics that looked inward and outward, touching on themes of family, longing, and the passage of time. Tracks such as Forever, sung by Dennis Wilson, and Long Promised Road, led by Carl, reflected a maturity that felt grounded and sincere. Dennis Wilson emerged as a compelling voice within the group. His songs held a raw tenderness, and his solo album, Pacific Ocean Blue, captured a unique spirit, gentle, weathered, and filled with emotion. The ocean remained a central presence in his work, not just as a setting, but as a feeling. He wrote with the rhythm of waves in mind, and his melodies often carried a quiet ache that stirred the heart. Carl Wilson, calm and steady, became a guiding figure. His voice, clear and expressive, brought warmth to the group's later records. He often served as a bridge between personalities, offering patience and clarity when needed. His role expanded over time, both musically and personally, and his presence helped sustain the band through changing seasons. Mike Love and Al Jardine continued to contribute to the evolving Beach Boys sound. Mike's lyrics and showmanship added energy to live performances, while Al's steady musicianship kept the group rooted in familiar harmonies. Both remained committed to sharing the spirit of the band with audiences around the world. The 1980s brought new challenges. Musical trends shifted, and the group navigated a landscape filled with changing expectations. Still, their concerts drew large and appreciative crowds. Audiences found joy in the timeless nature of their songs, singing along to familiar choruses under open skies and glowing lights. During this time, Brian Wilson began a more personal journey. With support and care, he re-entered public life through solo projects and live appearances. His music remained heartfelt and intimate, and each release added a new layer to the tapestry of his legacy. Though his path was shaped by complexity, his creativity remained central to his story. In 1983, Dennis Wilson passed away. His absence left a quiet space in the band's circle, one filled with memory, music, and the echo of his voice. He had brought a spirit that was spontaneous and deeply felt, and his songs continued to resonate with listeners who found something truthful in his work. 15 years later, in 1998, Carl Wilson passed as well. His voice, so often a source of balance and grace, had touched generations with its sincerity. His presence was felt in every harmony, and his contributions helped shape the band's emotional tone over the decades. Despite these losses, the Beach Boys continued to perform and record. Their reunions were filled with warmth, offering a sense of continuity and gratitude. Fans embraced the evolving lineup, drawn not only by nostalgia, but by the comfort and beauty of the songs themselves. Through changing decades, the group held on to something essential, a dedication to melody, harmony, and emotional connection. Each performance, each recording, offered a thread that led back to sunlit beginnings and carried forward with quiet strength. The Beach Boys moved through this era with grace, finding new ways to share their music while honoring the paths that brought them there. Their story deepened, becoming not just a tale of youth and success, but one of reflection, care, and the enduring power of harmony. The music of the Beach Boys has continued to drift gently through the decades, touching artists, listeners, and dreamers across generations. From their earliest recordings, the band cultivated a sound that felt both intimate and expansive, a balance of emotion, atmosphere, and craft that invited reflection and calm. This signature style has rippled far beyond their own records, quietly shaping the musical world around them. During the late 1960s and beyond, fellow musicians took notice. Paul McCartney often spoke with warmth and admiration for Pet Sounds, describing it as one of the most beautiful and moving albums he had ever heard. Its influence echoed in the Beatles' own work, particularly Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, where the blending of orchestration, sentiment, and imagination reflected a shared sense of musical wonder. That admiration spread to many others. Artists in folk, pop, and rock began drawing from the Beach Boys' use of harmony and layered textures. The band's willingness to express vulnerability in their lyrics helped pave the way for music that embraced sincerity and introspection. Their approach showed that popular songs could be spacious, contemplative, and emotionally rich, while still carrying the warmth of melody. In the decades that followed, a quiet reverence for the Beach Boys' catalog continued to grow. In the 1990s and 2000s, bands like Belle and Sebastian, Fleet Foxes, and Grizzly Bear wove harmonic influences into their own recordings, creating music that shimmered with echoing voices and gentle chord progressions. The reach extended even further through artists such as Tame Impala, who embraced studio experimentation and sonic layering in ways that mirrored Brian Wilson's approach. Their influence has also been felt in unexpected places: lullabies sung at bedtime, choirs that study their arrangements, film composers who use their music to evoke time and memory. Songs like God Only Knows, In My Room, and Surf's Up continue to appear in soundtracks and tributes, often chosen for the quiet emotion they carry. These melodies linger softly, evoking comfort, familiarity, and moments of reflection. The harmonies of the Beach Boys have also become part of cultural memory. For many listeners, their music connects with personal moments: long drives along the coast, afternoons in sunlight, evenings filled with conversation and stillness. These songs hold space gently, providing a backdrop for emotion without overpowering it. They feel timeless, always returning with the same gentle grace. Over the years, the Beach Boys received honors and tributes that celebrated their contributions. Their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Grammy recognitions, and commemorative releases brought renewed attention to their legacy. These events offered moments for reflection, not just on what they accomplished, but on the feeling their music continues to bring. Brian Wilson's later years added another layer to that legacy. His live performances, solo releases, and public appearances reflected a deep connection to the music and to those who embraced it. When he revisited Smile in 2004, audiences were given a long-awaited glimpse into his most ambitious dream, now completed with care and clarity. That release was welcomed with affection, a quiet celebration of perseverance and vision. In June 2025, Brian Wilson passed away. His life had been marked by extraordinary creativity, and his music reached listeners with both innovation and tenderness. The songs he helped create continue to bring peace and inspiration. His influence is woven into the fabric of modern music and remains present in the work of those who build with harmony, honesty, and heart. Today, the Beach Boys' sound can be heard wherever calm and beauty are needed. Their melodies drift through headphones on quiet walks, fill rooms during moments of stillness, and return like waves whenever comfort is sought. Their story lives on in voices that harmonize gently, in instruments that echo softly, and in the shared feeling of something luminous and enduring. Their music continues not through noise or spectacle, but through the simple act of listening, with a quiet heart, an open mind, and a sense of peace. Each note carries with it the touch of a shoreline, the hush of sunset, and the enduring glow of harmony. The music of the Beach Boys continues to move gently through the spaces of everyday life. It lives not only in history books or award ceremonies, but in ordinary moments, moments filled with quiet joy, memory, and comfort. Over the years, their songs have become part of the fabric of modern life, appearing softly and naturally in settings where calm and familiarity are welcome. In films and television, their melodies often drift in during reflective scenes. A few notes of "Wouldn't It Be Nice" can soften the mood of a montage, while the opening lines of "God Only Knows" have accompanied tender endings, slow goodbyes, or glimpses of cherished memories. Directors turn to their songs when a scene needs something personal and nostalgic. The music carries feelings of innocence and longing, gently wrapping stories in harmony. Advertisements have also turned to the Beach Boys when they want to evoke warmth or simplicity. A few chords of "California Girls" or "Good Vibrations" can conjure summer sunlight and smiling faces, offering a gentle, familiar rhythm that feels timeless. These brief appearances carry with them decades of cultural memory, softly reinforcing themes of ease, care, and warmth. Beyond media, their music plays a quiet role in family traditions. Parents introduce their children to the sounds that once filled their own homes. Surfin' USA plays in kitchens while pancakes are flipped on Sunday mornings. Don't Worry Baby hums from speakers during late-night drives. These songs become part of rituals, not with ceremony, but with the comfort of repetition and gentle familiarity. In memory care centers, the Beach Boys' music has found a place in therapy. Their harmonies help evoke recollections from earlier decades. Familiar melodies reach places that words sometimes cannot. A soft chorus or a single line can open a door to forgotten stories, easing anxiety and helping people reconnect with their past. Their music brings more than entertainment in these moments. It brings grounding, recognition, and peace. Their songs have also appeared in mindfulness and meditation playlists. Tracks like "In My Room" and "Warmth of the Sun" offer a kind of stillness that invites reflection. These gentle arrangements help create a space for quiet breathing and emotional ease. Without urgency or tension, the music offers an anchor, a soft place to rest the mind. Listeners from around the world have embraced the Beach Boys in their own ways. In places far from California's coast, their music conjures beaches, friendships, and the feeling of endless summer. Whether translated into other languages or left in their original form, the emotions they carry remain accessible. The harmonies cross cultural lines with ease, speaking through tone and texture rather than distance or geography. Tribute bands continue to celebrate their work, performing at local festivals, seaside gatherings, and small theaters. These performances bring communities together, offering familiar sounds and friendly spaces. Audiences sing along, dance slowly, or simply close their eyes. The shared experience becomes part of a memory, a soft echo of the past, renewed in the present. Online communities often gather around their music, sharing favorite lyrics, rare recordings, and personal stories. A song heard at a wedding, a concert attended decades ago, a moment of comfort during illness. These memories flow quietly across message boards and social feeds. The connections formed are gentle and genuine, drawn together by sound and sentiment. Cover artists continue to reinterpret their work with care. Some offer acoustic versions filled with breadth and simplicity. Others translate the melodies into different genres, allowing the core feeling of the songs to travel even further. Each interpretation keeps the music moving, breathing new life into harmonies that have long comforted and inspired. In every setting, from public spaces to private rooms, the music of the Beach Boys remains close. It doesn't demand attention, but it welcomes it. It doesn't fade with time, but grows more meaningful as memories accumulate around it. For many, these songs are not simply listened to, they are lived with. Their presence in everyday life offers something rare, a feeling of continuity and calm. The music carries no sharp edges, no urgency. It arrives like a breeze, lingers gently, and leaves behind something warm. In this way, the Beach Boys remain part of the present, not through grand statements, but through the quiet comfort of songs that continue to resonate. The sun has long since dipped below the horizon, leaving the sky brushed in hues of soft indigo and deep rose. The last whispers of daylight have faded into the gentle rhythm of the waves, rolling in with patient consistency, as if echoing the harmonies we've followed tonight. The air is cooler now, touched with the scent of salt and night-blooming jasmine. All around, there is stillness, a quiet invitation to rest. We've walked softly through the story of the Beach Boys, beginning in a humble home in Hawthorne and flowing gently through years of creativity, connection, and calm. From early rehearsals in garages to the layered beauty of pet sounds, from sunlit concerts to quiet studio sessions, each chapter unfolded with care. Their music shaped memories, softened edges, and brought warmth to countless moments, and still does. The songs we've explored tonight were more than melodies. They were reflections of feeling, little lanterns glowing in the dusk. Wouldn't it be nice in my room? Surfer Girl, God Only Knows. Each one opened a space of stillness and invitation. They asked nothing, promised nothing, yet offered everything, a place to breathe, to feel, to be. The voices of Brian, Carl, Dennis, Mike, and Al created more than sound. They created a kind of shelter, a harmony that held people gently and steadily through changes in time and place. That harmony continues in recordings, in memories, and in the quiet hum of lives touched by their songs. Their music rests in unexpected places now. It plays in a corner cafe as someone reads. It drifts through headphones on a park bench at dusk. It echoes in family gatherings and quiet moments at the end of long days. Each time it returns, it carries with it a sense of familiarity, like the sound of the ocean through an open window or the feel of warm sand underfoot. The journey we've taken tonight does not end, not fully. It slows, softens, and becomes part of the background, ready to return whenever you need it. The Beach Boys' music continues to drift like a tide, gentle and constant, always near. Let the sound of waves stay with you as you rest. Let the harmonies you've heard tonight ease your thoughts. There is nothing to do now, nowhere to go. Just breath, stillness, and the quiet glow of music that stays with you. Thank you for joining me on tonight's journey. I hope it brought you a little peace, a little wonder, and a little closer to rest. Until next time, sweet dreams.